I've come up with recollections of life with Miriam. And I start out, I think she's about 2, and she's sick. And her mother says they're going to the doctor. And then she says, no, we're at the emergency room. And then I think we were in the ICU. And it was pretty bad walking in and seeing her with an IV in her head because she was dehydrated. But luckily, we went home on Easter Sunday. Oh. And then moving on, having older brothers and a brother, sisters who we were always in sports. So this kind of leads, I guess, to athletic training, maybe. I'm not sure. But she played softball first, I think. Then I can't tell you if soccer, volleyball, or basketball was second, but some of those were. And in high school, she got really interested in this focus on volleyball. And she had a very hard driving coach. So she managed to play the front line. Which side? Left? Right side. She was the right side hitter specialist and was mostly a blocker. And she learned to really block. I think this leads later to a shoulder surgery, but we'll leave that.
She's got shoulder problems.
Shoulder problems.
She does.
Right in the family. Shoulder injuries.
And we had cable TV, and all we got was the Chicago Cubs every day. And this week in baseball on Sunday. So we developed kind of a baseball family. And her brother declared in kindergarten that all the best teams played in Chicago. So if you're wondering why we live near St. Louis and root for Chicago teams, that's kind of why, but that's the real aside. So in 1998, I don't know if you remember this, Sammy Sosa was battling Mark McGwire for a home run title. So we lived near St. Louis, and we would often go see the Cubs play the Cardinals, or we would drive to Chicago to see the same, well, whoever we got tickets for in Chicago. It didn't really matter. So that was a big deal for us. And this kind of led to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which I started going to 50 years ago in college. And we called ourselves the Indy Rain Club because it took us 3 years to see a race. We kept getting rained out. But Miriam would go with me, and we've seen both 500s and the Brickyard. And there's 2 events I want to talk about. We were rooting for the Irish root beer car, all race, going around, and on the last lap, he was going to make this big move, and he ends up in the catch fence, disintegrating his car. Miriam, like Abigail said, being concerned and always thinking of others, immediately panicked. So I said, oh, he's going to be okay. We'll see the pod go by, and he'll be fine. Well, all they bring by is pickup trucks of pieces, and they keep bringing pickup truck pieces. But finally, the pod comes by. And he was okay, although he broke his back, but he was fine. Otherwise, that's not real good. Then, the best one, though, is at the Brickyard. The guy in front of us drops $200 on the ground. And Miriam taps him on the shoulder and says, here, you dropped this money. She didn't even get a reward. He took his money and walked off. So, and one last thing at the Brickyard. We sat in the first turn in the 3rd row. You remember this. At the end of the race, we felt like we drove the car. Between the marbles blowing at us and the oil. We actually had oil in us from the track. So we got the full experience. And one last thing. She even turned down Dale Earnhardt lug nuts for the car one year. She didn't want them. They were sweeping them all to the side and offered her some. She said, no, I don't want any. All right, I'm rambling, but I'll keep going. So after high school, she's deciding whether she wants to get into church work or be an athletic trainer. And we talk and talk and talk, and she decides, with our help, maybe, that athletic trainer would provide a way to do God's work, I guess, and do athletic training. So she goes to Concordia University in Wisconsin. And this is where the start of packing up and driving Miriam all over the country begins. We take her there in a big red van for 4 years. She's an expert, they say, at taping ankles if you ever need your ankle taped. And if you watch sports with her, she can predict what's wrong with the athlete before they announce it on TV. After this, we start bigger movies with a trailer, and we take her to Augusta, Georgia. And just an aside there, she is an athletic trainer who has trained a national championship golf team. Yay!
Yeah. Here.
But we moved her to Augusta back and forth for 2 years. Then we moved her to Birmingham. And did we go back and forth there too? 1 year, but I think we brought everything home. So finally, when she moves to DeLand, we said, that's it. We're not moving you again. That's it. One other thing to mention is they were both in Augusta, but at different times. I'm not sure.
That's true.
So you followed around each other all over the country. Didn't know that you did.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, this is taking so
Yeah, I love it.
long. Okay. I'm ahead of myself on my notes here. I have to catch up.
You're doing great, Dad.
Okay. When she was in Augusta for 2 years, she kept telling me she was going to get me into the master's course, at least to see it. That never happened. But my favorite, she saw it multiple times. She could snag 3 tickets and go. 2 days out of the whole, and I never got to go. That's a source. She'd tell me about you should see all the jets on the tarmac, Dad. It's wonderful. No, I didn't see. But we did get served grits at not the master's course, but the one down the street one time when she was working there as the cart girl and counter person. Always hard out. So where am I at here? Now where am I here?
That's my favorite course.
All right.
What's that
We
course?
talked about dancing. I'm going to
Barstool.
leave a little bit of curiosity to you, but she told me when we used to drive carpool to school every Friday that this song that was played, she was going to play at her wedding. Suddenly it's changed. We'll play it at her wedding, but we'll get more into that later tomorrow. But keep in mind that the group's name was the Breakfast Bunch that did the Friday morning. They were indescribably audiolicious, and their main character was Wicked Wanda. You'll get more of this later. Okay, then we're finally to Caleb. First time I met Caleb, he looks like a guy off the cover of Gentleman's Quarterly. He's in his nice button-down shirt. He's knocking on the door here in New Smyrna, and I go, "Oh, nice to meet you." And so the next day we go to craft beer crawl through the town of New Smyrna.
That's sure.
And he treats me to raw steamed shrimp. Steamed oysters. They're awful gritty. I'm learn not to like those. But I'll end with this here. And many times after we talked about work for till Miriam told us, we quit talking about construction and engineering and all that stuff. We talk about him and Miriam. And he, from early on, told me about their relationship and he really liked her, etc., etc. And so before I got this email that I'm going to read you, this is dated September 27th, 2022. It's from Caleb. If you're free this afternoon, and he always calls me sir, can I give you a call? I'd like to discuss some future intentions I would love to do with your blessing. Perfect. No, that's all I said. I could assume the rest. With your blessing, I knew what he was saying. And then the best one, on October 19th, 2022, he writes, "Hope you're doing well, sir. Just to keep you updated, I plan on proposing this Friday afternoon night. Sorry. So, S-O-O, you might want to keep your phone around. I'm certain Miriam will want to share the news with you and the rest of the family. The only people that know are you and my parents, so it will hopefully be a surprise. I'm not sure when you fly her to somewhere, but you pulled it off, so good job. Yay! So that's the end of my ramble.